Welcome to the Flora podcast, a place where we help you create a life you're excited about. Welcome back to the podcast. Today we are talking about keeping promises to yourself. If you're new to my channel, I'm Flora. For over 25 years, I've been helping people like you align into a life or a business that you are wildly obsessed with by helping you clear the 9 types of clutter, keeping you from a life that you absolutely love. What are those 9 types of clutter? They are mental, spiritual, emotional, digital, financial, daily, body, process, and environmental clutter. Today, we are going to talk about clearing some of the things that are keeping you from achieving your goals. What is a goal? A goal is a promise that you are making to yourself of something that you want. You may set these at the beginning of the year. You may set them at the beginning of each quarter, each month, each week, or even each day. And this is the time of year when so many people are focused on their New Year's resolutions, their goals, new year, new me, woo, all the things. And you may be giving yourself the time frame of 1 year to achieve XYZ, or let's just say I want to lose 10 pounds by June 15th. So you set that goal of losing 10 pounds by June 15th. Or you could be keeping your goals general, like you want to walk daily. So I want you to reflect at the goals that you have in your life right now. Some people never set goals. The people that set goals and look at them daily are usually the most successful people on the planet because they have things that they're working towards continuously. So I want you to look at your goals. And I want you to ask yourself, what might block or prevent you from achieving these goals or doing these things daily? What might block you or prevent you from doing these daily? Or however, like if you want to do things 3 times a week, what might prevent you from doing that 3 times a week or doing something daily? So typically when you set a goal, you're usually pretty motivated or in a place where you're like ready to make change. And you're like, yes, I'm going to do this. And there's no way that I'm not going to be motivated to do it. And there's no way that I'm going to let anything prevent me from doing these things. But let's just say you're not motivated. Let's say that you're really tired. You didn't sleep well. You have cramps. Maybe you had a really hard day. Maybe if you have kids in the house, maybe one of them's throwing up and going diarrhea, and maybe the cat threw up or the dog threw up, or, life throws up on us sometimes, right? Maybe, you're just like, I can't even. Like, life feels really freaking a lot right now. What are the consequences going to be if you don't stick to these goals? Now, I say consequence. Consequence is a neutral term. Consequence is neither good, bad, or indifferent. Now, typically, we associate the word consequence with something negative. But essentially, consequence is the result of an action or inaction. So basically doing something or not doing something. Typically, when it's a more positive-based, connotation, people will say result instead of consequence. So you can change up the word if you want. What's the result going to be if you don't do your goals? You're not going to have your goal. What's the consequence? If you do your goal, you're going to have that thing. So, most people fizzle out during about week 3 after starting a new goal, simply because the newness wears off. I've talked about this in my book, The 1 Degree Shift. I've talked about this in my coaching. I've talked about this in my memberships for all the years that I've been doing memberships. And the classes I've done. Like, this is something that I preach and teach here on the podcast, on my content on YouTube. This is hands down one of the things that anybody who talks about habits will tell you is at about week 3, people fizzle out simply because the newness wears off. The novelty is gone. The major charge in the brain and our synapses is not there. It's becoming habit. It's becoming routine. And so at the 3-week mark, you may not be seeing results just yet. So there really isn't hard evidence that what you're doing is working. So what is going to keep you committed to your goal, or essentially the promise that you've made to yourself? I really want you to think about this, because when you look at your goals and say, these are my goals. So this is the phase of life that I'm in this year. And this is one of the things we talked about in the very first episode for this year of our yearly planning is, this is my phase this year. This is my priority, or these are my priorities, depending on how many priorities you choose to have. And your goals should be in alignment with your priorities. If your goals are not in alignment with your priorities, I am here to tell you that you are not going to achieve those goals. And I've seen this in the 25 plus years that I've been coaching people, is when somebody sets a goal that is not in alignment with the phase of life they're in and the priorities that they have, they don't achieve it. And then they beat themselves up and wonder why the heck they haven't achieved their goal. And it's simply because it was not a part of your priority for this year. Like, if you're getting major surgery this year, okay, your priorities should be to try to be as healthy as possible to prep for the surgery, mentally, physically, emotionally, and nutritionally. And then after the major surgery, then convalesce. Continue to eat healthy. Continue to not smoke, because smoking reduces our ability to heal quickly. Getting enough water, getting sleep. Like, sleep is so important because our bodies rejuvenate while we sleep. If you are downsizing and transitioning this year, maybe moving from one state to another, if you want to go and start a book club in the community and have it every single week, if you're downsizing and moving, or if you're convalescing from major surgery, that book club is probably going to be pretty challenging for you to commit to every single week. So if you're maintaining your business, if you're maintaining your relationships, if you have children that don't need you 24/7, or that maybe you have a partner that is an equal parent and you're not the default parent, so you have that equal partnership, and you have care for your children, then yeah, and you have time to read the book and organize the book club and run the book club, then yes, you absolutely can do this. And so this is why it's so vitally important to get really crystal clear on what are my priorities this year? What are my priorities? And like I said, when you have clear priorities, then your goals just make themselves. And then because you know that those goals are a part of your priority, if building relationship are one of your main priorities this year, probably having a lunch date with your girlfriends once a week or once every other week is in alignment with your priorities. So that goal of every other week or every week of having lunch with your girl, that's absolutely in alignment with it. If having date night twice a week with your partner without the kids is a priority for you, or building that relationship with them, that goal of once or twice a week of a date night is going to happen, because you've put that in the forefront, okay? But the key is to really look at, okay, this is a promise that I've made to myself. This goal, these priorities are a promise I am making to myself. So let's kind of circle back around to what might block or prevent you from achieving these goals. When you look at that and you anticipate, okay, maybe both my partner and I are sick and we don't get to date night, or we're not going to get to date night in the next week or two. Okay, how can you create a date night at home while you're both sick? This actually just happened with me. So my partner, Kenny, he got a cold, and then a week later, I got a cold, and I was like, dang it. So we always do date night at least once a week. So obviously, we're both sick. His lasted about 3 weeks. Mine lasted a good solid 2 weeks. And you might hear it in my voice still. I feel 100%. I do have a little bit of, barely a cough. I'll cough maybe once or twice an hour. But My voice still isn't back to normal simply because I was coughing so much. So because we knew date night is important to us, we ordered takeout, we picked a good movie or 2 or 3, and we watched movies. We actively, and we have this thing on Netflix that we do, is we go to the search bar and we type in A, and we'll find something from that screen. And then we'll go, after we watch that, we'll go B, and then we'll go C. And so it's like, because often we're just like, what do we want to watch? And you search and you look at, and sometimes you just don't know. And so we go through the alphabet in the search bar, and it just makes it a really fun kind of serendipitous way to have a date night at home if you're both just not feeling well. So that's, something. But I really want you to look at, and I want you to actively write down, what are my goals? Hopefully you've already written them down. You've written down your goals and your priorities for this year. And I want you to ask yourself for each goal, what might get in the way? Like if you want to go walking every single day outside, what might get in the way? Weather. If it's snowing where you're at, if it's icy, if it's cold, if it's raining, do you have the proper gear so that no matter what the temperature is, or is it 110? Like that's my thing. I live in Phoenix. And in the summer, that's a real issue. And so I have to get up at like 4:30 or 5 o'clock in the morning to get my long walk in so that my little doggy doesn't get too hot and get overheated. And also so I don't get overheated. So look at every single goal. Maybe you want to eat clean this year or even for a month. What does that mean to you? Define it. Is that no sugar? Is that no pasta? Is that no dairy? What is that? Get super specific and then ask yourself, okay, what might get in the way? Okay, the kids bringing home chips. Okay, maybe make a rule. If the kids bring home chips, they need to keep them in their room and not put them in the cabinet in the kitchen. Don't buy ice cream if you know you don't want to eat it because that's not part of your goal. Because having it in the freezer might prevent you from doing that. What happens when you anticipate the blocks, when you anticipate the things that might prevent you from doing it? Let's just say you want to work out every day, but you know the first couple days of your period, you're tired, you're achy, you're exhausted. And you're just like, I really just want to like lay on the damn couch and not do anything. Okay, so can you find maybe a stretching video where it's a really gentle stretch or a gentle yoga that you are able to do when you have your period? Okay, that's something that you could look for before your period and bookmark it so that you're setting yourself up for success. So if that day does come where you're like, all right, I got my period, I feel like shit, but I want to keep the promise to myself and continue to move my body daily. Okay, I already planned for this. I have a video that's going to be perfect for this day. All right, open your laptop, open your phone, play it. Do it and notice how you feel when you did it. Really allow yourself to look for and anticipate those blocks that might prevent you from achieving or doing your goals daily. And when you anticipate what might prevent you from doing it, and then planning in advance what you could do instead. So, okay, it's raining. Okay, I want to walk. I don't have any rain gear. Okay, get rain gear. It's icy and you still want to walk. Okay, get those little grippy things that will help you not slip on ice. If it's 110, okay, go to bed earlier so that you can get up earlier, or get up early and then take a nap later on in the day. Really give yourself permission to set yourself up for success by anticipating the things that might block you from achieving these goals and planning for them so that you have no excuse, so that you can't and won't break the promises that you have made to yourself. That's why we do this work. It's like you're promising yourself a better life. You're promising yourself better health, better relationships, better finances, more smoothly running things in your life And that's what less clutter does. And that's what these hiccups are, these blocks, it's clutter. And we don't plan for it, and then we're like, shit, why didn't I see this coming? Seriously? That's why we're doing this work, so that you can plan ahead. You can plan ahead so that you can keep those promises to yourself. Remember, all it takes is a clear vision of what you want and the willingness to take a small 1-degree shift in that direction every single day. And sometimes that shift is clearing out some of these bits of clutter that prevent you from doing the things that you want and having the life that you love. I love you. I hope this serves you today, and I will see you in the next episode. Thank you for listening to today's podcast episode.